practices, ultimately impacting changes in student results. Therefore, the professional development that we provide is intentionally designed to meet the needs of teachers and the students we serve. We use a 7-step professional development cycle that is a national cycle that we adopted from the National Professional Development Council. The first step in this cycle is that we begin by analyzing student data. Then we identify the needs and characteristics of the school and the division, which allows us to target educator outcomes. Then we assess educator learning needs by doing needs assessments as well as through observations. During step 5, we seek research-based designs to meet the needs of our educators. In step 6, we monitor implementation and timelines, and in step 7, we evaluate the implementation and sustain professional development as needed. In Caroline, we use a job-embedded professional development model. This professional development is grounded in day-to-day teaching practices that is designed to enhance teachers' content-specific knowledge with the intent of improving student learning. Tonight, we will highlight building professional development, division professional development, and online and hybrid professional development. Kim Hayslip will come forward to discuss building level professional development.
Good evening. This year, grade level and content teams across the division participated in professional learning community meetings each week. During the PLC process, teacher teams, along with building administrators and instructional specialists, collaborated on instruction and learning using 4 key guiding questions. What do we want students to know and be able to do? How will we know if they've learned? What will we do if they have not learned? And what will we do if they did learn or already know the content? This involved, but was not limited to, unpacking standards, coaching best practices, general planning, data analysis, and reviewing student work. This collaborative process supported individual and team reflection, improvement of teachers' content knowledge, and also helped to ensure that our students were receiving high-quality instruction in the classroom. Building level professional development materialized this year in several ways. First, job-embedded PD occurred during the day through modeling, co-teaching, coaching, and feedback provided by instructional specialists, mentors, and administrators. PD also took place during small group and team sessions, as well as during staff meetings. Finally, 2 half-days were dedicated to PD in each school. Although some common threads existed between buildings, these sessions were generally tailored to the needs of a particular school by the building principal.
The second component of our professional development model is implementing division professional development. At our summer retreat last summer, we began with Teaching in the Fast Lane to implement high student engagement. Throughout the year, we have engaged principals and practices at our principal roundtables, and principals have taken these strategies back and implemented them with their schools and their staffs at meetings. At our annual convocation, Dr. Kaverick unveiled Pathways 2022. Afterwards, our principals, assistant principals, and division personnel led teams of teachers in aligning Pathways 2022 with their school improvement plans, as well as their individual team plans. This ultimately helped teachers outline goals for their individual growth plans. At this time, Dawn Plum, another instructional specialist, will come forward and talk more about how we implement division professional development in Caroline. Good evening. Yes, next one.
Teachers across the division had the opportunity to gather at CMS in the fall for a high-energy themed day of learning. This day was an opportunity to reinforce new programs and follow up on prior learning. It allowed teachers, grouped by secondary and elementary levels, to collaborate, communicate, and generally encouraged county teamwork. Topics at the secondary level included gradual release strategies in math, Achieve 3000 in reading, and best practice when creating performance-based and common assessments. Elementary topics included follow-up on Lucy Calkins' units of study and writing, the Dreambox Math computer-based program, and information from the VDOE Math Institutes. The Spring Division PD Day had a similar high-energy theme, March Madness, making every move count. The elementary team had a conference-style day with one required session introducing the new English Language Arts standards, but also were able to choose 2 sessions based on a needs assessment from reading, math, science, or social studies. These were taught by our own teacher experts and instructional staff. The spring day of PD also included 3 rotating sessions for paraprofessionals. The secondary level teachers focused on the digital conversion and learned about Schoology and blended learning. They had a working session where they created Schoology class content and assessments. As you can see by the graphic, the teacher evaluation was great. Presenters received top scores from 94.8% of participants on how well the sessions were organized, how informational they were, and how engaging they were. Finally, Division PD included quarterly sessions with new teachers and liaisons. The New Teacher Academy focused on best practices in instruction and classroom management based on a book called The Skillful Teacher, and provided new teachers with the opportunity to collaborate and work through challenges they faced in their first year of teaching. Monthly sessions were provided to digital champions on best practices in the use of instructional technology. Building level coaches, specialists, and ITRTs came together to learn best practices for coaching teachers and providing actionable feedback, among other topics.
We've highlighted building and division PD, and that brings us to our final component, online and hybrid PD. Hybrid refers to a professional development model in which participants do some learning face-to-face with the instructor and some through an online platform. As part of the division's digital conversion initiative, middle and high school staff members participated in professional development on our selected online platform, Schoology. Based on a survey, participants were placed in differentiated groups and were led through 3 learning modules by the instructional technology resource teachers. The ITRTs also conducted check-ins in each building during February, March, and April. This allowed them to provide one-on-one support and guidance to teachers. Each phase and layer of the Schoology PD was designed to ensure the development of quality courses by teachers and a more seamless digital conversion.
Finally, I'd just like to highlight some next steps for professional development. We definitely want to continue providing coaching and feedback with our coaches, specialists, and ITRT team. We want to continue to implement high student engagement. We want to support program implementation. We want to align our curriculum with unit planning and alignment, performance-based assessments. We want to emphasize classroom management, culturally responsive classrooms, and to continue with our digital conversion with blended learning in Schoology. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Ladies. We'll move on now to the awards, recognitions, and commendations. First, we have the recognition of 2019 Teacher of the Year, Novice Teacher of the Year, and Support Staff of the Year, Ms. Holt.
Good evening, Chairman Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins Fells, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. It is recommended that the school board recognize and congratulate the Teacher of the Year, Shelby Foltz, PE teacher at Lewis and Clark, and Novice Teacher of the Year, Richard Hardinger, math teacher at Caroline High School, and Support Staff of the Year, Melanie Terrell, Human Resources Finance Technician at Central Office. All of these shining stars were recognized at the recognition dinner held on May 2nd. Shelby Foltz will move on to compete with the State Teacher of the Year process very soon. If any of them are here, if they would come forth. I know, here comes Shelby. I didn't know whether she was going to make it or not. She had running club this evening. But Melanie, I know Melanie is here. And I'm not sure Mr. Hardinger is here. Okay, all right. So welcome, welcome. Y'all can go up and shake the hands of the Lord. All right. And congratulations again to all three.
Next, we have the recognition of retirees. Dr. Smith.
Board Chair, Mr. Spalding, Vice Chair, Dr. Rollins Fells, members of the board, Dr. Parker. It is recommended that the school board recognize and convey its appreciation to the following retirees for their many years of dedicated service to Caroline County Public Schools. Darlene Boone, special education teacher, 15 years of experience. Gail Oakes, school counselor, 20 years of experience. Deborah Pinnell, science teacher, 18 years of experience. Vera Underwood, art teacher, 14 years of experience. Sharon Watskevich, English teacher, 16 years of experience. Michael Mooring, AV production teacher, 3 years of experience. Sharon Warren, history teacher, 17 years of experience. Dawn Plum, whom you've heard from this evening, instructional specialist, 6 years of experience. John Martin, finance director, 3 years of experience. Mary Betsy Carter, bookkeeper, 26 years of experience. Mary Baxter Nelson, clerical support, 9 years of experience. Emma Woolfolk, food service assistant manager, 16 years of experience. And Robert Richards, maintenance worker, 24 years of experience. Please join me at this time in applauding these retirees. Thank you.
Next, we have the recognition of the class of 2018 graduates. Dr. Calvary.
Good evening, Chair Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins Fells, member of the board, and Dr. Parker. It is my honor to join you this evening to acknowledge and celebrate the accomplishments of the 2018 graduating class. Detailed recognition of specific student accomplishments was conducted at last week's senior night. This evening, you'll receive a very high-level highlight associated with college acceptances, career offerings, and military commitments. The class of 2018 consists of 276 graduates who will walk the stage at University of Mary Washington this Friday evening, May 18th. Amongst our 276 graduates, we will find 90 college-bound students, with the student going the farthest attending Ohio State University. These accomplished young men and women have accumulated $2.4 million worth of scholarships. This number will continue to increase throughout the summer as more students receive scholarship incentives. We additionally have 2 young men heading to the Army to serve the United States in preserving our safety and our freedoms. I would like to extend a thank you and heartfelt gratitude to Wesley Carter and Matthew Leitch for their service. And 6 students will be offered a position with MC Dean at graduation. These 6 students have been our inaugural students to participate in this externship opportunity with MC Dean and have bright futures in the electrical field. At this time, I would like to invite you to turn towards the screen and view a fabulous video celebrating all of our graduates returning to our 3 elementary schools to share their success stories. They say that education is not the filling of a bucket, but the igniting of a flame. And I certainly hope that our graduates walking the halls of those elementary schools ignited a flame amongst our youngsters to achieve high and go for the gold. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Mr. David Nelson, who has joined us this evening. Mr. Nelson, please stand. Mr. Nelson has been the instructor at MC Dean for our 6 graduates who will be receiving offers after graduation. Thank you so much for your service. Also, I want to extend a thank you to Ms. Becky Elam, our Special Projects Coordinator, for taking on the coordination of our senior walk at the 3 schools. Ms. Elam, thank you very much.
You know, that must have thrilled those little guys to death. I mean, I didn't think much of it when I first heard it, but when I looked at that right there, those kids had to be excited. Thank you very much.
And I never saw the mirrors which is a great thing.
Okay. All right, let's move on to recognition of career and technical education winners. Dr. Monroe.
Good evening, Chairman Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins-Fells, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. It is a plum-pleasing pleasure and honor to recognize career and technical education students and teachers who have earned a place in recent competitions. Career and technical education competitions allow students the opportunity for problem solving and to confront work-related situations. These students embody the 5 C's: critical thinking, creative thinking, collaboration, communication, and citizenship as they earned their respective rewards. At this time, I ask all teachers and recipients in attendance to come forward when your name is called to be recognized. First, this evening, we will recognize culinary arts recipients. Their instructor is Chef Jazz. I don't know if Chef Jazz is here this evening, but these names are students who won awards. For showpiece competition, Naisha Gill won silver, Jabri Wright won bronze. For our pastries competition, Cameron Palmer won silver. For bread competition, Tyler Norris won bronze. And for cake decorating, Alexis Mott won bronze. Our next category is Skills USA. This time I would like their instructor, Mr. George Honeycutt, to please come to the stage. For the competition category, it was criminal justice competition. Our recipients are Lauren Hinkle, 3rd place. Let's give her a round of applause. Callie Shepard, 4th place. Eric Meadows, 4th place. And Logan Williams. And Logan, what was your place, sir? 5th place? Congratulations. Do we have any other criminal justice competition winners this evening? Excellent. You all may have a seat, and we'll take a group picture in the end. Dr. Parker, please stay right there. Next, we have small engines, district competition with instructor, Mr. Christopher Anderson. Mr. Anderson, please come to the stage. Our winners are David Castle, 1st place. I don't know if David is here this evening. John Carter, 2nd place. And Noah Bradley. Do we have any of those students here this evening? No, sir. Well, at this time, we're going to give them a round of applause and their awesome teacher, Mr. Anderson. Dr. Park got it. 2 more. Next, we have Skills USA, State of Virginia Small Engines Competition. Again, that was Mr. Anderson, but I also wanted to recognize David Castle. He's not here this evening, but he won 1st place and earned $17,000 scholarship and a tool set. He will be representing Caroline County at Skills USA National Competition in Louisville, Kentucky later this year. So once again, can we give David a round of applause in his absence? And last but not least, we have our Future Farmers of America, and would Mr. Hunter Gravitt please come to the stage. And this evening, I believe, we have Tristan Bassoon, sorry about that, Tristan, for tractor troubleshooting. So can we give Tristan a round of applause? At this time, can we have Principal Wick, if he's still here, all teachers and all recipients to come to the stage. So Tristan, come on back up. We're going to take one group picture. And at this time, can we give all of our CTE winners a big round of applause? Congratulations. Thank you.
Good job to all you winners and teachers. Good job. Next, we have the recognition of Teacher Appreciation Week. That's me.
Well, before you do that, can I read this part?
Did I miss something?
I'm just going to introduce you.
Oh, you're going to
Yes.
introduce me?
Good evening, Chair Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins-Fales, board members, and Dr. Parker. It gives me great pleasure to recognize Teacher Appreciation Week. Governor Ralph S. Northam officially recognized May 7th through the 11th, 2018 as Teacher Appreciation Week in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Teacher Appreciation Week is dedicated to all teachers in Caroline County. Our teachers exemplify the professional teaching standards by motivating, challenging, and engaging teachers in a rich, real-world learning environment. Caroline County teachers stand firm on their commitment to education and have a standard of excellence when teaching all children and youth. We commend the teachers for their hard work, dedication, and lifelong learning to ensure the success of our students. It is recommended that the board and administration recognize the teachers at Bowling Green Elementary, Lewis and Clark Elementary, Madison Elementary, Caroline Middle School, and Caroline High School. At this time, Chair Spalding will read the proclamation from Governor Northam.
Thank you. Teacher Appreciation Week, May 7, 2018. Whereas strong and effective public schools are essential to the economic prosperity of Virginia and ensure that we continue to make social, technological, and science advancements, and whereas qualified, dedicated teachers are critical to the success of our students and are fundamental to the strength of our Commonwealth, and whereas Virginia teachers are entrusted with helping our students reach their full academic potential and exhibit an unwavering devotion to the students' success, and whereas teachers are essential to empowering families and communities to support our children and their potential to achieve, and whereas the Virginia Lottery, the source of nearly $8 million for the public schools since 1999, is partnering with Virginia Tourism Corporation, the Virginia PTA, for the 3rd annual Thank You Teacher campaign to encourage Virginians to send thank you notes to teachers across the Commonwealth, and whereas Teacher Appreciation Week is the opportunity for Virginians to join with the teachers around the country of the critical role of our teachers play in shaping our children and the future of the Commonwealth. Now, therefore, I, Ralph S. Northam, do hereby recognize May 7th through 11th, 2018 as Teacher Appreciation Week in our Commonwealth, Virginia, and I call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. No applause. All right, moving right along. Next we have a School Nurse Appreciation Day. Dr. Monroe.
Chairman Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins-Fales, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. Caroline County Public Schools was honored to recognize school nurses on Wednesday, May 9th, 2018. Our nurses work closely with parents, educators, administration, and community agencies to ensure students in our schools are furnished with a healthy and safe environment for learning. School nurses serve on the front lines and provide a critical safety net for our children during the school day. For more than 100 years, school nurses have worked with families and communities across the Commonwealth to advance the health, safety, and wellness that are crucial to the development and education of young Virginians. School nurses enhance the educational process by meeting healthcare needs of students through assessments, intervention services, emergency care, and the management of acute and chronic illnesses during the school day. School nurses understand the important link between health and learning. Our nurses here in Caroline County are Emily Cox, representing Bowling Green Elementary School. I don't think she's here this evening. Jennifer Light, representing Caroline High School. Jennifer Pettigrew, representing Caroline Middle School. Amelia Ryan, representing Lewis and Clark Elementary School, and Kathleen Tender, who is in attendance this evening. These awesome young ladies all make a positive difference for our students every day. Therefore, it is recommended the school board recognize May 9th, 2018 as School Nurse Appreciation Day. Can we give these ladies a big round of applause? And Ms. Tender, can you please come forward, please? Dr. Parker, we are going to take a picture. And Mrs. Haley, is she here this evening? Here she is. Excellent. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Monroe. You know, Caroline ought to be real proud because at one time we were one of the few counties in Virginia that had nurses at every school. A lot of the larger counties, and they didn't have it. We did. So we know how important they are to our system. Thank you. All right, let's move on now to the VSBA Business Honor Roll. Ms. Elam.
Good evening, Chair Spalding, Vice Chair Roland Fells, members of the school board, and Dr. Parker. The Virginia School Board Association Business Honor Roll is a way for local school divisions to recognize businesses for their support. The Business Honor Roll helps the divisions add a big thank you for businesses and their vital contributions throughout the school year. Our first business partner we honor tonight is Grand Canyon University. Grand Canyon provides assistance to our teachers, resources for recruiting teachers, and assistance for events throughout the school year. Thank you to Grand Canyon for your support. MCD. Mr. David, would you come forward, please? MC Dean has created a unique learning opportunity for our students. Mr. David Nelson collaborated with CHS administrators, basically Mr. Justin and Mr. Wick, and CTE teachers to develop an internship for our students. During the 2017-2018 school year, 6 students attended classes at CHS in the second semester and attended classes at MCD 3 days a week. Students were placed in real-world situations as they participated in the electrical apprenticeship program. Students who were successful with the program will be offered a position with the company on Friday, right as they come across the stage. A parent-student meeting, they held a parent-student meeting a couple months ago, and 60 students participated. Now, Mr. Nelson says he can't take all 60 kids, but he's going to take as many as he can. And thank you so much. Just one story about one of the students in his program. The student had no idea why in the world he ever had to take math until Mr. Nelson introduced him to his program. And as a parent and as an administrator, a past administrator, I don't know what this kid would have done without this program once he graduated in May. Thank you, sir. Mr. Paul, come on up, please. Thank you, sir. Our local YMCA plays a key role in supporting our community and schools. Their program, Learn to Swim, provides 350 second grade students from elementary schools an opportunity to learn safety skills. And these students receive this free of charge. One story that comes to mind is one of the second graders shared at our realtors brunch that she no longer has to wear her swimmies. You know, how fabulous. The Summer Learning Loss Prevention Program focuses on literacy instruction, enrichment activities aligned to literacy, and positive youth development. Last summer we had 14 students in 2nd and 3rd grade participate. This summer they have 19 signed up. The YMCA also offers our division discounted rate. And this next coming school year, our 9th graders coming into Carolina High School will have a free membership to the Y. Our leadership team also benefits from team building activities with the Y and their staff. Mr. Paul and I actually have a meeting in the morning at 9 to plan leadership training for in June. So thank you so much, Mr. Paul, and for your team with the YMCA.
I'd like to quickly just point out too that the high school swim team gets to go to the YMCA and practice for free there and has their meets there for free, which is a big deal. Teaching in another county where everybody has to pay and they have to put it as part of their athletic budget, it's really nice that those kids have an opportunity to go do that and use that throughout the entire season. So thank you, sir.
Moving right along now, we have citizen comments.
Mr. Chair, we have Patricia Klein from the Junior and Senior Beta Clubs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Ms. Tamara Fagans is going to begin our presentation this evening, and then we will wrap it up. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm tickling my throat tonight. Good evening, Chair Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins-Fells, Board Dr. Parker. We actually have a treat for you this evening. We brought some of our kids that went to the Junior State Beta Convention, and we brought our special talent team to perform for you quickly this evening. Girls. Molly, Keegan, come on. These girls, while they're getting ready, won second place in special talent for the state, and they're headed to the national convention in Savannah this summer. The Lewis and Clark Elementary School boasts a ukulele club, and the girls took off with the ukuleles, and then they've added their own voice to make it their own.
Now you know why I'm so proud of my babies. We don't just rock it academically with service and leadership, but we've got all kinds of special talents. I've got a couple of ladies here I have one from Bowling Green Elementary. Those ladies are from Lewis and Clark, and then I have another lady to speak to you from Madison Elementary, if you'll indulge us for just a few more minutes.
Good evening, board. My name is May Davis McManus, and I am a 5th grader at Bowling Green Elementary School. As the vice president of our Beta Club, I have helped with many projects this year. Some of the things junior betas have accomplished are making blankets for our seniors, visiting a nursing home, working with Head Start students, assisting our principals with various projects, and raising funds for various charities. We appreciate the board's support of the county's Beta Clubs in the past. Your support helps us to bring student leadership and service to all areas of our county. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jada Bolden. I am a 5th grade student at Madison Elementary School. Our Caroline Junior Beta Club has invited to attend the National Junior Beta Convention on June 12th through the 17th in Savannah, Georgia. The Betas have been fundraising diligently over the last couple of months to meet our financial goal. We currently have 44 eligible students to attend the convention at a cost of $1,050 per child. The Beta Club recently attended the Caroline County Board of Supervisors meeting, and they granted us $10,000 to assist with our costs for the convention. The Board of Supervisors also challenged you, the school board, to match the $10,000 that they granted the Beta Club. Last year, the Beta Club split the granted amount evenly amongst the 5 schools, which include Bowling Green Elementary, Lewis and Clark Elementary, Madison Elementary, Caroline Middle, and Caroline High Schools. We will do the same this year to ensure that all eligible Betas have the opportunity to attend the National Convention. Will you grant the Betas of Caroline County $10,000 to help with the cost of the convention? Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good evening. We have, in addition to the 44 juniors that are going, the middle school and the 3 elementary schools are all junior clubs. The high school is the only senior club in the county. In addition to their 44, we have 18 additional students going. Our girls and boys were all working or seniors taking their dead week, but we were very fortunate that one of our officers, who is amazing, she is our vice president, our club vice president, the Virginia State Secretary. She's running for national secretary at convention. Miss Madison Bowling has a message for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the school board. My name is Madison Bowling, and I'm the Caroline High School Senior Beta Club Vice President, the Virginia State Beta Secretary, and I'll be running at the national level for National Secretary. In June, the Senior Beta Club will be attending nationals in Savannah, Georgia. We have 18 members that will be going for national honors, and the experience and opportunities we come back with are amazing. I went to the national convention last year in Orlando, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. I met so many new people. It really brought me out of my shell, and it helped me want to run at the state level for state secretary. The Senior Beta Club has been fundraising all year long to help us go to the Leadership Summit, States, and now Nationals. We have another planned Spirit Night, and we've raised $5,000 so far. Please support us by defraying our costs and help continue our mission of leading to serve others. Thank you.
As you can see, our betas are all over our county, and we are very proud of them. Between the 44 going with the elementary schools. There are 5 more going with middle school, and 18 going with Ms. Klein for the senior convention. The convention is in Savannah, Georgia this year in June. The juniors will be there from the 13th through the 16th, and then the seniors are there from the 17th through the 20th. So nobody's flying this year. I think we're all driving or doing charter buses this year, so it's kept our cost a little bit lower this year, we're happy to say. Do you guys have any questions for us?
For either of us, if you have questions for the senior, I'd be glad to answer, or for the statements for juniors.
I have one for the juniors. How much money have you all been able to raise so far?
We have, as Jada told you, we have $1,050 for each student to cover the costs with transportation fees and food and hotel and all that jazz. We have raised so far at last check somewhere between $15,000 and $17,000. Excuse me?
How many days is this?
Between the juniors and seniors, it's 6 days total.
No. How many days is the convention?
The junior convention is 3 days and the senior convention is 3 days.
And it's still $1,000 and some dollars?
Yes, because we have the hotel costs, we have convention costs, we have to transport our kids down there, and sadly with elementary students with the Virginia law, we cannot use the small 15-passenger vans because it's against the law.
Any other questions?
Yes. What is the cost for the seniors? Is it the same?
For seniors, no, for us, because we were very fortunate, we were able to snag Salem Baptist charter bus, who only charges $1.50 per mile, and then we have to put up the driver. We were able to keep our costs a little lower. Our cost per student is right about $465 per person. Cost of transportation is really tremendous. Last year ours, just for our 25 kids that we took last year with 2 vans, it was over $2,000 for the vans, and then gas on top of it. So that's what eats you up. I understand. Yeah.
And with elementary students, we don't always have the same options for transportation that you do with the high school students, unfortunately.
If you got a charter bus donation, would that help? If we transport the younger students?
Sure. We at this point, we're paying for a charter bus, and the bus is simply taking us down and then bringing us back. We're not paying for them to stay there while we're there. So while we're there, we're stuck on site. And with elementary students, because we don't have transportation, we have to stay on site. We can't go because we don't have the transportation throughout the time that we're there, we have to be there where our kids can walk back and forth.
And the food options, I'm not sure how familiar you all are with Savannah, but where the convention center is, it's across the water. And even though the ferry and the bus service is free for our students, if you don't have the ability to move around in the city, food is expensive. So for them, having a charter bus donated, one that may be able to stay there and drive them farther into the interior to get fast food or to go to CC's or something like that, that will also help their costs dramatically to be able to shave some of that food cost down.
That's true.
Okay, thank you.
Y'all are short about 55,000 for this trip. That's what I'm looking at. I've got 67 people going in $1,050 each.
No.
You need to look at them as 2 separate entities. The junior clubs have one trip, and the senior clubs have another.
Okay.
We are down about 8,000.
Okay.
The senior club is.
Closer to your goal than that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we're down. At this point, I did not get a check from my bookkeeper this morning, but we're probably down somewhere around 20,000 or a little bit less. But we have several other we've got one going on tonight, 3 going on this weekend. We fundraise every day.
I'm sorry, I misspoke myself. I didn't count in our portion of the county, and that would put us down to about 6,000 that we still owe.
Okay.
Little over 6, like 61, 50, something like that.
A total about 26,000, 25,000, 26,000 we need to raise in total to help y'all get there, reach your
not consider, adults and chaperones, those are not factored into this. This is just the kids.
Okay. Very good, I'm proud of them.
They are phenomenal, phenomenal kids, and the experiences they have. I really would like to extend the invitation to you all to join us one year at either the state convention, which is much easier for you to get to in Hampton, or to go to Leadership Summit or Nationals. When you see at Nationals 15,000 teenagers in a room, all excited, all pumped, all behaving, it is an amazing thing. And our kids just went in the first year with eyes this big, and now they have friends at that level, and it's a phenomenal thing. So, now the state leadership looks for our kids and says, you're the Caroline contingency. They know who those kids are when they come in. They comment on how sharp they're dressed, how well behaved they are. The national speakers put all of our teams on their personal spots. I mean, these kids are doing phenomenal things.
We have much to be proud of.
Yes, we do, absolutely. Absolutely.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So much.
Any other citizen comments?
Chair Spalding, there are no more citizens' comments at this time.
Next, we have the consent agenda, consent vote, monthly bills, financial report, April school board meeting, minutes, and homeschool requests.
Mr. Chairman, move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a second. Any questions? If not, call for the vote.
Mr. Copeland?
Aye.
Motion carried. Let's move along. Next, we have the action items, approval of the VSBA policy updates. Dr. Calvary.
Good evening again, Chair Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins-Fells, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. This evening I present to you for approval the recommended VSBA policy revisions. These revisions are based on changes in state and federal laws, regulations, and guidelines. At this time, I will entertain any questions that you may have regarding the policies.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the VSBA policy updates.
Second.
Been moved and second. Are there any questions, discussion? If not, call for the vote.
Give me a voice vote.
Copeland?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you, Dr. Strawberry.
Thank you.
Moving right along, with approval of meal price plans 2018-19. Mr. Connor?
Good evening, Chairman Spaulding, Vice Chair Rollins-Fells, Dr. Rollins-Fells, excuse me, got to practice that, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. This evening, I come before you with the annual evaluation of our school meal pricing plan. Do you guys, just to confirm, everyone had a presentation? Okay, good. Just a little worried mine didn't show up in there. As you may very well be aware, we do an annual price evaluation pursuant to the Healthy, Hungry, Free Kids Act of 2010. The USDA requires that we utilize a tool referred to as the Paid Lunch Equity Tool. And this year, their pricing guidelines, we're looking at a 4.31% increase. These are based on some inflationary factors that they consider. I do have one new bit of news that we just came across, though, is that due to the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2018, there is an exemption available for financially sound school food authorities. The next slide there, you can see that I've provided you with price history, that since the Healthy, Hungry, Free Kids Act went into effect, we have seen price increases every year, again, following the federal guidelines that they provided to us. This is over the period of 8 years, and my concern at this point is that we're starting to provide pressure on our households that are having to foot these bills. This gives you a little overview of where we stand in the region as far as pricing go. We're pretty much right in the middle of the pack. We have a few school systems that are priced higher, a couple that are priced lower, but based on that comparison, we are currently appropriately priced for the region. If we look back to where we were in the 2016 school year, the last time that we followed the federal recommendations and did a 10-cent price increase, one of the changes that we made that year is that we reduced category breakfast, was moved to 0, so we started providing that at no cost to that particular group of students. And at that time, I'll note that we were still running the academic summer feeding program, and we'll explain why that's important in a moment here. This past school year, the one that we're currently wrapping up, we made a determination with the support of the board that we only raised our meal prices 5 cents. In order to do that and not adhere to the guidelines, we were required to provide non-program funds to offset the price. A big change that we made this school year was that we moved our reduced category lunch to a 0 cost. So now all students in that category, and that represents about 8% of our student body, are able to eat for free. So that was a nice improvement. And again, we kept our costs down. One thing that I mentioned that is brand new here, and we just got this application approved last week, is we are now going to start running a new summer food service program. This program will allow us to serve all students in Caroline County during the summer months free. There will be no cost for them to eat breakfast or lunch during our summer school program. So that's a big news that we finally got that application approved. So looking into the future, looking into the next year, I would advise that we continue with the 0 cost for the reduced price category. We will look to be expanding this brand new summer food service program because we are actually able to sponsor outside organizations. One thing that we're going to be doing this year, for example, is our business partner with the YMCA, the group that they have at high school, we will be able to feed their group for free also. And we'll be looking to take that and expand that even further in the county to feed additional students. And I would advise that we utilize the exemption. This is a one-time exemption, but that we utilize the exemption that was covered under the Consolidated Appropriations Act and not increase our prices for the new school year. That's usually a pretty easy thing to agree to. No price increase. We have been able to absorb the loss of revenue from these price adjustments, and we are continuing to make improvements in the program. One of the updates that I mentioned is some of the new food products that we're rolling out. Of course, we're constantly, I say constantly, we try to do a half a dozen food tests during the course of the year to make sure we're improving on the products that we're offering the students. We did a new chicken tender this year that was a big hit. One of Dr. Parker's favorites are the new yogurt parfaits that we're serving. Let me make sure we had that one up there. That was a really good product. So again, we're continuing, even in this scenario, we're continuing to do improvements in our food offerings. Do the next slide. And one other program, and of course we're also continuing to do improvements in the equipment that we're utilizing in the system. And I mentioned the digital menu messaging board that we are currently rolling out. We have now got this program in 3 of the schools, the high school, Bowling Green Elementary, and Lewis and Clark. This program is up and running. And we are currently working on the installation at Madison and hope to have the middle school done this year. So we'll have all of our locations utilizing this new program. And I bring this to your attention because this program is being presented for the VSBA competition, the Food for Thought competition. So some of you, yes, some of you may be seeing this again soon, and we wouldn't want you to be surprised. Oh, Caroline entered something. So again, my recommendation, which I think will be pretty agreeable to everybody, is that we do not raise prices in the next year, that we maintain our current price structure, and that I submit to the to VDOE that we will utilize the exemption that they're offering for the new school year.
Mr. Carter, I have a question. I'm concentrating so much on this thing, I'm only hearing about half of what you're saying there. I'm sorry. This summer school, who's taking care of that? Federal, state?
It's actually a federal program, SFSP, Summer Food Service Program, that we applied to, we put an application in for, we were accepted, actually just this past week, about 10 days ago we were accepted. And that program provides funding that allows us to feed all the students for free. And it's actually anyone 18 and under. So let's say the sports team was practicing during the day. They could come into the high school and eat lunch for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a really great program.
Do they know that?
We're just, again, this is brand new, hot off the presses, so we're just now getting the word out. And I know I spoke to a representative from YMCA this morning, which is why that was fresh in my mind, and we're reaching out to the County Parks and Rec Center so they can get the word out on that. I have reached out to Intercept, who does some of the groups. So we're getting the word out right now. I'm working with Dina Kapler, that you guys may know that she's the manager at the middle school. She's also happens to be the softball coach. So she's working to get the word out to the on the sports side of things.
So summer school will be at the high school this year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys will be there. So any of the sports teams, fall sports, they can come in at lunchtime and get their lunch. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct, yes. If the band is practicing, anyone that's 18 years of age or younger, if there were children who were playing tennis over there, just having fun, they could actually come in and eat.
Now, do you, for the record, they give you a lump sum for that, or do they reimburse you, or what?
No, sir, it's reimbursed per meal for each meal we serve.
Okay, that sounds good. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the meal price plan for 2018-19.
Any other questions? If not, call for the vote. Has everyone voted?
Not at this time. Mr. Copeland?
Aye.
Mrs. Harris? Mr. Kelly?
Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. We have the approval of the SEAC committee members. Ms. Curry?
Good evening, Chairman Spalding, Vice Chairman Rollins Bills, member of the board, and Dr. Parker. My name is Dalian Curry. I'm the teacher representative from Lewis and Clark Elementary School, speaking today for Ms. Laura Glass. This evening, I'm providing you with a list of candidates who desire to serve on our local Special Education Advisory Committee, which is SEAC. This committee provides a venue for parents to discuss special education programs, seek information, and review our annual plan. Applications have been submitted for the following positions: Chairman, Wendy Sneed from Madison Elementary School. Secretary, Lisa Richardson from Bowling Green Elementary School. Committee member, Linda Galloway for the Disability Resource Center. Megan Sparks from the Department of Social Services. And teacher member, myself, Daliana Curry from Lewis and Clark Elementary School. The members will serve one-year term. Unless you have any questions regarding the candidate, I'm seeking your approval for these SEAC members.
Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
vote.
I move for approval of the SEAC committee members.
Second. Now we can vote. Voice call.
Mr. Copeland?
Aye.
Mrs. Harris? Mrs. Carson? Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Curry. Next, we have new business. First reading of the 2018 Technology Bond Reimbursement Resolution. Wade Berry.
Chairman Spalding, Mr. Murray is absent this evening. Mr. Bowman, are you presenting on his behalf? Okay, Mrs. Stevens.
Good evening, Mr. Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins Fellows, board members Dr. Parker. As done in previous years, the state is providing technology grants to local school board divisions to equip the schools, all levels, to take the SOL test online. The purchases are financed with proceeds from bond sales conducted by the Virginia Public School Authority, the VPSA. The expenditures incurred by school divisions are submitted to the state for reimbursement. Because the bonds are tax exempt, the Virginia Department of Education requires the adoption of the attached resolution to comply with the federal regulations regarding the reimbursement from the bond proceeds. This is something that's typically done every year on a resolution in order for us to get the bonds for the VPSA for technology. It is $180,000. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, ma'am. No questions.
Thank you.
Next, we have a policy update on, my computer's got, is that ONR? Student fees, fines, and charges. Dr. Calvary.
Good evening again, Chair Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins Fellows, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. This evening I am presenting the annual suggested adjustments to Policy Regulation JNR. The items in red document additions, deletions, and changes. Let me take a moment to outline these on your behalf. Beginning on the front page under middle school, you will note the addition of a one-to-one technology fee for $40. This provides insurance to each student receiving a one-to-one digital device. Additionally, it will support a body of digital devices to be on hold as replacement devices for students should they require a repair. The next item you will note is the crossing off of free until 1 year after graduation in relation to high school transcripts. This is no longer the procedure that is utilized by the high school. All transcripts upon graduation are at the cost of $5. The high school does not utilize agendas, and therefore the replacement of agenda books for $10 will be removed. Moving to the second page, physical education. In parentheses, you will note the addition of the word lock, as the $5 fee is associated with a PE locker lock. On the high school list, you will also note, similar to the middle school, the addition of the one-to-one technology fee, $40, which will cover the insurance associated with the Chromebook each high schooler will receive at open house. Moving into science labs, you will see that anatomy biology is being reduced from $25 to $20 for a lab fee. The removal of dual enrollment, Biology 1 and Biology 2, is associated with no teacher at the high school having a master's degree specifically in the area of biology. This is a very strict requirement for dual enrollment courses, which of course provides students with the opportunity to receive college credit as well. And moving below into the fine arts area, you will notice a reduction in a number of art fees. Art 1, 2, and 3 are being reduced from $30 to $25. AP Art 4, a reduction of $5. AP Art Studio Art, a reduction of $5. And Crafts 1, 2, and 3 also are being lowered from $35 to $30. Dual enrollment, Drawing 1 and Drawing 2 are still live courses. However, our instructor does not need to charge a fee. He is able to hold those classes without that supplemental funding from our students. Graphics will be reduced from 15 to 10, and we're also proposing a reduction in Photo 1 and Photo 2 from $35 to $30. These are exciting reductions as we are introducing the one-to-one digital conversion fee of $40, and so we are really hopeful that that will create a sense of balance as teachers and administrators ask parents to pull out that checkbook and support the opening of a fresh new school year with that great digital device. Any questions at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I do. We were just talking, if I had 3 children in the high school, and maybe I had twins as 10th graders, that means I'm paying money for the driver's ed, I'm paying money for the art, I'm paying money for the PE. Holy Toledo.
Yes.
Can they have a running charge account? Can it run like that, or is this cash all total?
That is a very good question, Mr. Spalding. We actually are working alongside Mr. Murray, who is not here with us this evening, to develop a payment plan as appropriate, and that will be something that we meet soon to talk with Mrs. Stevens so that the bookkeepers are well equipped to develop that payment plan process. We also have really done an extensive analysis of our community's ability to pay this one-to-one technology fee. And so we believe that we have created a budget that takes into account our free and reduced lunch population. And so we do plan to have a wide array of communication techniques that will begin to go out, specifically starting with the report card process, and then we will do media blitzes throughout the summer so parents are aware that this is something that is on the horizon, and hopefully we'll be setting aside a small amount on a weekly basis to be prepared, and if not able to be accommodated on that day with a payment plan in the future.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In order to get their digital device, are they going to have to put the $40 up front?
Good question. We actually are going to be meeting with the administrators at our next roundtable on June 6th, and we will provide them with a handbook which outlines a variety of scenarios which may present themselves, one of which being a student who, for whatever reason, is unable to bring that payment forward. We are viewing this as a necessity. It is becoming like a textbook would be in a math classroom, and therefore the inability to pay will not prevent a student from receiving a Chromebook. However, we will have a number of protocols in place prior to that Chromebook being handed to that student that our administrative team and some of our ITRTs will implement. And so by the end of that second week of school, we anticipate 100% of 6th through 12 students having a Chromebook in hand.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a quick one, because I have a student that's going to be starting high school next year.
Wonderful.
Can I go ahead and start making payments? It's like a joke, but it's, you know, seriously, can I start making payments? Like if I did that, because I know she's going, and you know, this is, right now it's, yay, I just got the message, I passed my SOL, and then, you know, school ends next week, and she's like, that's out of her brains, and as a parent, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't have to worry about it, but yeah, I got to start worrying about it.
Well, that's a good question and not something that we have as of yet thought of. However, the prior to open house payment may be something that could be feasible in working in tandem with the budget department. But of course, none of these fees will be approved until the board takes action at the June board meeting. So should we receive approval, we may be able to move in a more expedited fashion, Mr. Kelly. Thank you for the idea.
Well, anyway, approval or disapproval, they should be working on some way that we can come up with some kind of payments, because this is going to be a hardship. I mean, some parents and so forth, they don't want that. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along, we have our informational items. First, the monthly update of revenues and expenditure. Ms. Stevens.
Good evening again, Chairman Spalding, Vice Chair, Dr. Rollins, fellows board members, and Dr. Parker. Tonight I have the pleasure of going over the April financial statements with you. There are some adjustments on them. We've been working on the accruals of reversing out any of the accrued revenues and the accrued expenditures. So you will see differences from the last month's report. We're at year-to-date revenues of $38.4 million. That does include the last transfer from the county. So there will be no additional transfers from the county. It's 84.3%. We have expenditures of $35.9 million. We're at 78.94% of the expenditures. We still have that summer payroll for your 10 and 11-month employees coming up in July that will need to be booked in. And I'm still working with the county on the Anthem funds to get those reclassed for the technology and the maintenance. Do you have any questions tonight on the financials?
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to make sure the board made note that Mrs. Stevens sent a letter to me regarding the end of year closeout of FY18. Since she is working on an accrual and not a cash basis, which is a change for our budgeting process, a meeting in June will not be necessary, as she can accrue the costs. Bills that come in July and those types of things can be accrued back to the FY18 expenditures. Did anyone have any questions on that before Mrs. Stevens sits down?
Not. Thank you, Ms. Stevens. Next, we have a compensation study final report from Ms. Holt.
Members of the board, good evening again. In your Chromebook this evening, you have a copy of the final compensation report that we received from Evergreen Solutions. I also have paper copies here for you so that you'll have a good evening read in case you don't want to do it on the computer, but I do have that for you. But it's in the board docs for you. The teacher salary scale has been developed in a 3-year progression to get teachers to the current market minimum starting salary recommended by Evergreen. Eligible teachers will get up to 2 steps on the new fiscal year 19 scale, which is attached in your board docs. The scale was developed using approximately $500,000 of the $650 provided for the compensation increase, plus fringe benefits. The 3-year progression will get the teacher scale to the current market minimum over a period of 3 years as the market continues to increase. The remaining $150,000 will be used to make adjustments to the educational support and administrative scales. Our plan with appropriate funding, and I put that in high quotes, appropriate funding, is that year 4 will contain a step plus a COLA, which is the cost of living adjustment. We're currently making adjustments to the educational support staff salary scales. The administrative scale will receive a 0.5% increase. You also have the attached comparison with surrounding counties, and if you look at that, you will see you have Caroline, Hanover, King George, Spotsylvania, and Essex, and you can see the increase that they're giving. Caroline, we have an average of a 2.8% increase average. Hanover is 2%, King George 1.6 COLA and 1.6 salary scale adjustment. Spotsylvania 4% across for all staff except administrators, and Essex is given a 3%. You can see even with our new salary scale, Essex will start paying more than we do next year. You also have a little example there of the starting teacher scales. Year 1 is $40,600. Year 2 goes to $41,800, and year 3 is $42,672. So we have eased our way to what the recommendation was with the funding that we've received.
Any comments or questions? No.
Thank you.
Ms. Hall.
And I'll give you the paper copies in closed session. Got them for you.
Okay. Next, we have the digital conversion. Dr. Jones.
Good evening, Chair Spalding, Vice Chair Dr. Rollins-Fales, board members, and Dr. Parker. Tonight it gives us great pleasure to provide a digital conversion update. Beth Hazel will assist me in this endeavor. The first line represents our digital conversion timeline. We have been in this process for well over a year. In March of 2017, we selected 15 digital champions in grades 6 through 12. These teachers have had the opportunity to participate in monthly meetings, professional development, and site visits. In February of this year, 2 take-home classes were selected to be pilot classes. I'll highlight this a little bit in an upcoming slide. Parent sessions were held for these take-home pilot students. Pilot classes mean that students actually get to take the Chromebooks home. In February, pilot students received their Chromebooks in Ms. Vanderhergen's and Ms. Didlake's classroom. Also, during this semester, we provided Schoology training and blended learning PD for every teacher in grades 6 through 12. I think we talked about that just a little bit in our professional development presentation, and this was done between the months of February and April. The ITRTs provided this training, and they were assisted by our digital champions. So now that our digital champions have learned how to be more technologically savvy, they are now becoming leaders in technology. In April of this year, we finalized our application process for our digital champions in grades 4 through 5. These champions will be recognized next week and will begin the digital champion process. This summer, we plan to continue to offer additional professional development in Schoology and in blended learning for administrators and new staff. We also plan to organize parent and student committees as well as meet with administration to organize the deployment for grades 6 through 12 in August, where each student, as Dr. Keverick mentioned, will receive a Chromebook. The slide that you see now represents our 15 digital champions. As you can see, we have a wide array of teachers representing all disciplines. The teachers in blue represent teachers at Caroline Middle School, and the teachers in yellow represent the teachers at Caroline High School. These teachers have met monthly to share collaborative practices and the pluses and the hardships associated with this conversion process. But overall, the teachers were very, very positive about this process.
Can the audience still hear you?
Just the slides just don't roll, not rolling right now. Okay. The next slide represents our take-home classrooms. Again, Ms. Vander Herchen's 8th grade Algebra 1 class was selected, and Ms. Robin Didlake's 9th grade Earth Science class was selected. These all champions had an opportunity to apply, and these teachers were the teachers that were selected. For the take-home pilot, we provided letters home to parents and offered morning and afternoon face-to-face sessions for our parents. We also offered online sessions for parents. On February the 20th, students received their Chromebooks. The technology team, as well as division staff, went into Ms. Didlake's and Ms. Vander Herchen's class to make this presentation to our students. During the months of February, March, and April, school board staff visited the 2 take-home pilot classes and were in close collaboration with the students and the teachers. Next week, we will conduct student surveys to gain more information from the students before we close out our pilot program. As mentioned during our professional development presentation, all teachers in grades 6 through 12 had an opportunity to participate in online learning with 3 face-to-face meetings with Schoology training. We also provided weekly check-ins for our teachers. And I just would like to thank the ITRTs as well as the digital champions for facilitating this professional development for every teacher in the middle and the high school. So I'd just like to give them a hand for that. This slide represents the 2 sessions that we had for parents. We had face-to-face sessions and online. We have about a 10-minute video, but we're just going to show you about a 2-minute clip from the video that parents had an opportunity to learn about our digital conversion process.
We are pleased to announce Caroline County Public Schools will initiate a one-to-one Chromebook initiative for the 2018-2019 school year. This informational video will help answer questions parents, students, and faculty may have regarding this new and exciting program. The following topics will be covered by this presentation: the objectives of the program, the distribution process, home use and student responsibilities, insurance and cost for replacement, and internet security. So let's talk about the one-to-one initiative and why we're so excited about it. A one-to-one learning environment means one computing device for every student. Each student in grades 6 through 12 for the 2018-2019 school year will receive Chromebooks. Caroline County Public Schools believes that in order to best prepare our students for college and career opportunities after high school, they need these 21st century skills. The best way to accomplish this is through consistent and pervasive use of technology to enhance creativity and innovation, research and innovation, communication and collaboration, digital citizenship, and research and information. Together, we all understand that student and teacher relationships are best nurtured through daily classroom interactions. The introduction of this technology will enhance collaboration between students and teachers and create a blended learning environment that maximizes personalized learning opportunities. This is how our devices will be used by students and teachers. A one-to-one classroom will allow students to transition from consumers of information to creative producers and owners of knowledge, enhance students' engagement with content, enable students and teachers to implement transformative uses of technology, promote the development of 21st century problem solvers, provide equitable access to students to communicate, interact, and share information through resources outside the doors of their classroom and home environments.
Good evening. There's about 8 more minutes of information for parents in the video. So the next slide is about the student technology fee that you discussed earlier. So each household would be assessed a $40 fee per student for students in grades 6 through 12. The technology fee covers insurance for the one-to-one device. It also covers purchasing additional loaner laptops. So that's about it's about 10 laptops per grade level. So that's about 70 laptops. And it also covers asset tags and other costs. So insurance, if you think about what the insurance for a device covers, it covers unlimited incidents, accidental damage, fire, flood damage, vandalism, liquids, any natural disasters, the things that insurance usually covers. So the second part is internet access at home. So there are a few questions up there. What happens if we don't have internet access at home? The wonderful thing about a Chromebook device is Google Docs can be used offline. So a student could start their work at school, and then when they can set their device to use the doc offline, and they can complete their work, and then when they come back to school and they have access again, it loads back in. Second question, will the internet access device be filtered? And yes. So when a student is at home, their device will have the same filtering that it has at school. And then the third part is the School Media Center Mobile Hotspot Program. So with the Hotspot Program, the libraries will offer devices to be checked out by students from mobile network operators like Verizon Wireless, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint, to name a few. So they can check those out, say if they have like a large research project or something that they need to work on. The next part is internet access on buses. So this is a really innovative idea. You can think of a bus as a rolling study hall. So providing Wi-Fi access on some select buses. If you think about students, some of our students are on buses for an hour or more a day. And then also students that are in sports or activities, putting Wi-Fi on buses where students are going to go on field trips, to sporting events, or any other activities, enable students and also actually teachers to complete work and students to complete homework while they're on the bus. And again, when students are using devices on the bus with Wi-Fi, they're going to be protected by the same school web filter that students would have when they're at home or when they're also in the school building. One thing that's going to happen is we're going to expand our digital conversion committee. Currently, ITRTs, digital champions, and other staff from the school board office are on this committee. In the future, we're going to also include people from the IT department, other division staff, teachers, principals, parents, students, board members, and then also community and business partners on this committee. So for next steps, so we're currently in May, so we have had our kickoff for the digital champions in grades 4 through 5. We intend to expand the digital committee and then also post student technology fees, which we've been discussing this evening. So June and July, so as we proceed forward, we're going to outline the deployment plan, which we have been working on for the last few months, begin collecting student fees, and then also have the Schoology in July, PD, for 4 through 5 digital champions. And then as August comes, have summer PD for new teachers. So any new teachers that we have coming in for grades 6 through 12. We're going to deploy devices during the CMS and CHS open houses, and then also provide students with one-to-one devices, some onboarding lessons. So things like using a Chromebook and then also using Google, to be productive. So the very last slide, if there are any questions that you have about our digital conversion, thank you for listening to our presentation this evening, despite all the things that are going on outside with the storm.
Any questions? If not, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, next we have update on renovation projects at CHS and ABS. Mr. Honan.
Good evening, Chairman Spaulding, Dr. Rollins Fells, members of the board, Dr. Parker. I'm here tonight to give you an update on the renovation project. I actually hope this is probably either my next to last update, so I'm hoping by next month I can come back and tell you that everything's buttoned up. We're so close. We have a handful of design issues that remain at the high school that we're going to work out. I actually have been requested by Southwood to bring you their final payment tonight, when we found an error. Ms. Wilson found an error in the bill in our favor, so we weren't able to get it in on time, but we'll be back next month with that. The VDOT work, all the land disturbance issues have been resolved at the high school. At MES, we're going to get the proof of the pudding here, apparently, outside. I'm looking at the weather radar. The stormwater management work was done by Haley at Madison, so that is now complete. And we will be releasing the payment that you approved in January that we've been holding till we had the roof resolved and some of these other issues resolved. And we will still have a small amount of their money, something less than $20,000, that we'll be holding until they can provide us with lien waivers. But basically, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping by next month I can come here and tell you that it's done. Are there any questions?
I have one, and you know what my question is. And I know now this week is supposed to be a rainy week, but
We've talked to him. He's on the schedule. He's supposed to be here right after school stops.
okay, so that's like after next week.
I think it's either the 26th or the 29th. I should have looked that date up, but I know we've been in communications with him several times over the last week, and we were so close to the end of school, we just said, well, we'll wait till everything's done, and then we can just roll right through that.
Has he been paid yet?
No.
Good.
But it would be really nice to have it done before July 1 if we could, and just have that done. All right.
Nope. Nobody'd be any more grateful for that than I would be.
So I'll stop asking about it, right?
No, it's fine. You continue to ask. I know the answer to that one.
Mr. Honan, just for the board's information, I know you'll come back in June once the project is completed with the remaining construction contingency. Not to put you on the spot, but what's the estimated amount on that?
We were allocated $550,000 as a additional contingency, and I wish I marked that report. But the last figure I had should be somewhere. We didn't use like over $130,000 of that money, so we only used like what 300. We're still do the math quicker than I can do in my head. But we did not use all of the 550.
So we'll be back. We have 450 of that 1 million contingency that was not appropriate, right. as well as a remaining amount of about I'm just going to say 150 right now. I know you'll have accurate when you come back, but just so the board knows that he will come back once we wrap up the project, and we're still looking at close to 600,000 in construction contingency that was unspent.
We've developed a list of other things that we need to get done at both schools. So
as always, we'll have a spending plan for the use of those funds.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Honan. All right, moving right along. Board comments. We'll start to my left, and there's Sean, Mr. Kelly.
I would like to wish everybody a safe journey going home.
I would like to say that this year when we had not only the teacher appreciation banquet, but the banquet last week for the retirees and all the people involved, it was one of the nicest ones I think I've attended in all the years I've been in Caroline. Not only were the decorations nice, not to say that last year wasn't nice in other years, but I felt like it wasn't so crowded, that people could move around, and it was just well done. I just think my hat's off to the group that did that, and it seemed like everybody enjoyed it, and it was very well turned out. I had the privilege of attending one of the programs that has been around, I think in the month of April, called Navigate the Waters, and that was an excellent program. I was so impressed, and I hope that some of you all that didn't get to hear it will have the opportunity, and it really addresses the opioid epidemic that we have going on, and it's very scary, and we need to be cognizant of what's going on. And I hope that, you know, we will, I hope that the ending of the school year goes well and everyone does well. So, and graduation is a success. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Chair, I have several comments as this is the close of the school year, and I thank you all for your patience. As a school board member, we are designated to serve on certain committees. Dr. Parker, Mr. J.D. So I did attend the school council meeting and learned about the technology initiative to make sure that there is career mapping and planning, scheduling done by the middle school. I just wanted to say thank you to the teachers in recognition of Teacher Appreciation Week. And an African proverb says that the lion will never get the glory as long as the hunter is the one writing the story. And I probably paraphrase that. And so I'm going to own my comments that I have made privately. I'm going to own them publicly. And I want to start by saying to our senior staff in the room, we appreciate you staying the extra meetings and the extra time to sit around that room and make sure that if we have questions, you are there and available to answer them. So thank you for your due diligence and your time with that. I recently put out some public information as a result of the constituent meeting. I understand that our mics are out. Got it, thank you. As a result of that constituent meeting, and I think it's important for all of us to hear the questions that are going on in the community. There's a lot of misinformation sometimes, and people just don't know, they don't understand. And so part of the information that I put out was about our strategic plan, Pathways 2022, and I referred people back to the website. And I actually walked them through that pamphlet because our community needs to understand that we are intentional and we are strategic with the things that we put forward and how we're monitoring student success and teacher performance. The next thing that I talked about was the budget process, because there was a misconception that the school board has the power to raise taxes, so why not just increase the funding that you're asking for to make money? And we know that it does not work that way, but there is an informing piece that we have to do within our community. And so I made sure to let people know that it really starts at the classroom level and how that is reviewed, and that as a school board, we literally looked at those items one by one through a poster session to identify the levels of priority. If it did not align with our 5-year plan, it did not make it on the table. And that was the basis for the things that we asked for. And then the last thing that I put out as far as public information was to inform the community of what our specific requests were. Sometimes they hear a final dollar figure and don't really understand what that's made up of. And so I went through a process of saying, here is the item, here was the price, and then here is the justification. And then my constituents wanted to know, where do you stand on that?
how can we count on your vote? What is your thinking? And so I would just encourage all of our board members to continue to do that, not just in budget season, but outside of budget season. And my closing remark, Mr. Chair, is to just continue to challenge our board members in spite of that we operate with dignity, that we are civil, and we operate in excellence. And those are my closing remarks, and I thank you for your time.
Ms. Harris? I have none either. Let's move on to superintendent's comments. Dr. Parker?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll keep my remarks short. We still have 3 buses that were on the road through the weather, so Mr. Satterwhite's going to check on those buses to make sure our kids are safe, and hopefully the storm will be passing. I wanted to just speak quickly to follow up with Dr. Rollins-Fells on some of the budget comments and some of the things that need to be said. And there are 2 things that I think really have to resonate in the community. Actually 3 things that we really need to continue to focus on. One is advocacy at the community, parent, and staff level. This year was a year where we saw a good number of staff members sending emails, communicating, staying informed throughout the process, and I encourage our staff to stay in touch with what's going on. We will be able to look at funding the first year of a 3-year compensation plan, but in order to have year 2 and year 3, we will need county support. So advocacy is an important piece of keeping that going. The other piece are clearing up misconceptions. There are still some misconceptions out there. I just recently saw a post on social media by a supervisor indicating that our teachers are paid better than Spotsylvania staff, and that a teacher actually took a raise when they came to Caroline. Just getting the right information, there's only one teacher that we are aware of that transferred from Spotsylvania to Caroline, and that teacher did not take a raise. So I just want to make sure that we're getting good information out and that it's factual, especially when we're speaking to the community. The other thing is that our scales are comparable, measure well with Spotsylvania in the current state, in particular after year 5, between years 5 and, correct me if I'm wrong, 13, that I think we're very competitive with Spotsylvania. But the scale is what it is. When you don't give, well, we did not give raises last year, and Spotsylvania gave a 2% increase to their staff, and their staff are currently on their scale. Our staff are not on the scale. So when it's mentioned to the community that our teachers earn more than Spotsylvania, it means that they have to stay on the scale, which is competitive. But if we're not able to fund the step increases and teachers are not on the scale, and the other division is on their scale, they are making more. And the other thing is you have to also keep in mind that school divisions are continuing to find ways to fund their increases for their staff. So we need to be accurate in the information we put out in the community, and I think we have some ownership of that, but also our county representatives have the same level of responsibility to put accurate information out into the community. And then the final thing is to support the strategic plan. I think that somewhere along the way in this discussion over budgets this year, we lost some of the communication pieces around our strategic plan and around our kids. We have a 5-year plan for improving Caroline County Public Schools, and those are the speaking points that we need to have across the table with our Board of Supervisors. I would strongly encourage that we put a resolution somewhere down, consider a resolution down the line where we've already adopted our strategic plan, but our community needs to adopt our strategic plan. Our Board of Supervisors and our county officials need to adopt our strategic plan so that everyone is communicating around the same speaking points for improving our school division. So that is something that I think needs to take place. I think we, as a board and as a leadership team, as leaders of our school division, we believe in our strategic plan and want to see it move forward and meet the goals of that plan. However, we need to see the same level of commitment, not only in our community, but also in our county officials as well. So I would strongly encourage that we reach back out and say, will you adopt this strategic plan? Will you support the strategic plan And when we come together with you and we have resources that are aligned to the strategic plan, will you support those resources that the school division needs in order to move the plan forward? So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to thank, I know we're in the season for a lot of things to be grateful for, and our students are doing a great job. We see our students earning scholarships and moving on to four-year institutions. I'd like to correct Dr. Calvert. There was one young man, he has hair all the way down to his shoulder. He was at the Senior Awards Assembly, and he's going to actually Paris to continue his education. So we have kids going everywhere, and some major universities around, and we can really be proud of the work that we're doing in Caroline County Public Schools. Let's just continue to make this division great, and let's continue to reach across the table to our communities and to our elected officials to ensure that we can continue the good work that our teachers are doing. Thank you.
We need a motion to go into closed session. So, superintendent's personnel agenda, teacher contracts 18, 19, and approval then to return to public meeting. Do I hear a motion? Okay. Second? Okay. Call for the vote.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passes and you're now in closed session.
Coach, JP just said to stay off of Lady Smith Road and go to 207, and again, I'm still learning my way around Carolina School, but he just said that Lady Smith Road has some trees down and has some hazards on it. So whichever way folks need to go, we need to go away from that Lady Smith Road. Yeah, we go back across the road.
All right, we will go into closed session.